Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive with us. We usually tackle some pretty complex topics here, like really in-depth stuff. But today we're looking at something a bit different, a children's book, actually.
Oh, interesting. A
Yeah.
change of
Yeah,
pace.
it's called Can You Smile When You Snore?
Uh-huh.
And it's by Mala Kumar. And the illustrations, I got to say, are just delightful. They're by Sonal Goyal and Sumit Sakuja. And we've got excerpts to work with, thanks to Pratham Books' Storyweaver platform and free kids books.
Fantastic resources, both of those. Always love what they're doing to make books accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. Now, even though this is a children's book, we're going to be diving into some pretty thought-provoking questions like,
Huh?
can you actually smile while you're snoring?
Hmm.
What is it about certain sounds that drive us crazy while others don't bother us at all? And, thinking bigger picture, what can this story tell us about human interaction and happiness?
Those are some really interesting questions, especially coming from what I assume is a fairly lighthearted story.
Oh, absolutely. So the story centers around this character named Beena. Beena's friends are quite a crew. Pigs, mice, and hens, and they're all champion snorers. I mean, they are loud.
Mm.
And this is causing a lot of trouble in their village. Everyone's sleep is being disturbed.
So it's not just like a gentle little snore, it's really impacting the whole community.
Right, exactly. Like Minty Uncle and Kajalanti couldn't sleep a wink all night, and Big Bird, well, Big Bird couldn't get any sleep at all. Poor Big Bird. So Beena, being the thoughtful person she is really troubled by this. It's making her unhappy that her friends are, unintentionally causing all this disruption. Makes you think, what would you do if you were in Beena's shoes?
Yeah, that's a tough spot. I mean, it's one thing if it's just you being kept awake, but when it's affecting everyone around you, that adds a whole other layer of complexity.
Definitely. So Beena decides to try and find a solution. She goes to the village head for advice, and he suggests that everyone in the village should use a specific tree for their various activities, like gathering fruit, talking, playing after work. It essentially becomes a central hub for the village life.
That's interesting. Not what I would expected, I think. I mean, it's a practical solution in a way, bringing people together, but is there something more to it?
Right. And the book actually asks you, the reader, why do you think the village head suggested this? So let's keep that question in mind as we go forward. There's also this really sweet image of the moon smiling down at everything at the tree, the village head, and all the sleeping animals, even though they're snoring away.
The moon smiling, huh? That's a lovely image. Do you think it's meant literally? Or is it more symbolic?
I think it's definitely symbolic, maybe representing a sense of peace or understanding that's beyond the immediate problem of the snoring.
I like that, a kind of higher perspective. Like the moon sees the bigger picture, even if the characters in the story are caught up in the noise and frustration.
Exactly. Okay, so now we meet Kutu, the pup. And Kutu really feels for Beena. He sees how upset she is about all the snoring and lack of sleep in the village.
Oh, so Kutu's like the empathetic friend, trying to help.
He is. So Kutu goes to talk to Jenna, the bee. And Jenna's reaction is so interesting. She's surprised that sounds can make anyone unhappy. She's like, my buzzing helps my friends sleep. So right away, we see this contrast in how different individuals experience sound.
Yeah, that's such a crucial point. What's soothing to one person can be incredibly irritating to another. Like, there's nothing inherently good or bad about a sound. It's all about perception and context.
Right, and maybe even your mood at the time, like if you're already stressed, maybe even little sounds seem much louder and more annoying.
Oh, for sure. I know when I haven't slept well, even the quietest sounds can seem jarring.
Absolutely. So Kutu, in his effort to help, suggests that Jenna sing Big Bird a lullaby to help him sleep. But, Big Bird is not having it. He's in a really bad mood from all the lost sleep, and he just growls at Jenna.
I can relate to Big Bird. I get pretty grumpy when I'm sleep deprived. It's like your patience just wears thin.
It's true. Sleep is so essential. Okay, so Kutu, still determined to get to the bottom of this, goes to Madame Ola, the wise owl, and he asks her this very direct question. Why do people get angry when they can't sleep? And it's interesting because Madame Ola seems perfectly happy even though she's awake all night.
So she's like a counterpoint to the villagers who are miserable without sleep.
Exactly. And Madame Ola explains that her happiness comes from her active life. She's flying, hunting, working, stretching, and she gets this deep satisfaction from catching her prey. So it's like she finds fulfillment and purpose in her activities, even if it means she doesn't get a lot of sleep.
That's a fascinating perspective. It's like she's saying, it's not just about how much you sleep, it's about how you live your waking hours.
Yeah, and maybe it's also about finding joy in what you do, even if it's something challenging or unconventional. Like Madame Ola clearly loves her nocturnal lifestyle.
Right, and that sense of purpose and fulfillment might actually help her be more tolerant of things that would bother others, like, maybe even snoring.
Interesting. And then we get this lovely image again of the moon. But now its smile is even wider, and even its eyes seem to be getting bigger. And the book asks you, the reader, what happens to your eyes when you smile a really big smile?
I love how the book keeps bringing it back to the reader's experience, making it so interactive.
It does. And then it asks this wonderfully playful question. Can you smile when you snore? Or snore when you smile?
Okay, now that's a question that makes you think. I mean, can you physically do either of those things?
Right. And also, what does it even mean conceptually? Can you be in a state of peace and happiness, maybe even smiling,
Right.
while making a sound that's generally associated with being, unconscious and a little bit disruptive?
Yeah, it's a really intriguing question. It makes you think about the connection between our physical state and our emotional state, especially during sleep.
Definitely. So Beena and Kutu are back under the tree, the one the village head suggested everyone gather at. And the book builds up the anticipation, like we're about to understand the why behind his suggestion with this repetition of because, because, because.
Oh, so it's like all the pieces are coming together.
Yes. And then finally, Beena's snoring friends arrive at the tree. But instead of more snoring, there's laughter and dancing. Everyone's happy and energetic.
So the disruptive nighttime sounds are replaced by joyful daytime activities.
Exactly. And it's at this moment that Beena has her aha moment. She finally gets why the village head made that suggestion.
I'm curious, what's the big reveal? What's the connection?
The story explains it like this. When people work and play together, they smile a lot. And when they go to sleep, they're so happy that they don't mind the snoring. They might even be smiling in their sleep.
So it's all about connection and shared joy. Like if you're feeling happy and content, maybe even snoring becomes less annoying.
Exactly. And the book ends on this really playful note. The pig can go hoink hoink with a smile. The mice can go kick kick, and you can go shh.
Ah, I love that. It's like it's tucking the reader in for a good night's sleep.
It is right. And then this very gentle closing. Good night, dear reader. Good night, night, night.
So sweet. So even though this was a children's book, it feels like there's a lot to unpack here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what are the big takeaways for you? For me, it's this idea that community, doing things together, having fun, it really creates a sense of happiness that can make us more tolerant of things that might otherwise bother us.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like when you feel connected and content, those little annoyances just don't seem as important. And it makes you think, what are the trees in our own lives? What brings us together and creates that sense of shared joy?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And, thinking back to those initial questions we had, it's interesting. The book doesn't actually answer definitively whether you can physically smile while snoring.
Right. It's more about the feeling, the idea of peacefulness and happiness during sleep, which we might associate with the smile.
Exactly. And it really drives home the point that how we experience sound is so subjective. It's not just about the sound itself. It's about our own state of mind, our relationships, our sense of well-being.
It makes me wonder, the next time I hear someone snoring, maybe I should imagine them smiling in their sleep, content after a day of connection and joy.
That's such a lovely thought. And, just a reminder, this deep dive was based on Can You Smile When You Snore by Mala Kumar, with those fantastic illustrations by Sonal Goyal and Sumit Sakuja. You can find it on Pratham Books' Storyweaver platform and free kids books under a Creative Commons license, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Thanks for joining us on this slightly different but hopefully just as insightful deep dive. We'll see you next time.